When it comes to figure collecting, a lot of people have a holy grail. For me, this was Corrin from Fire Emblem. Which, if you keep up with this hobby, you might assume this is that really nice scale figure up for pre-order, but it's actually the Corrin Amiibo. This thing got so expensive, I often saw it for over 150 out of the box. Which is pretty silly because for that price, you can pretty much just get that scale figure instead. But after a really long time, Nintendo has finally re-released this Amiibo, and thankfully this time it's not an Amazon exclusive. And while I do like Fire Emblem, the reason this is a grail for me is because if you see my collection, I really love the Smash Amiibos. They're what got me into collecting figures, and it's one of the few I need to finish the collection. But there was no way I was going to pay 10 times the retail price of $16 for it. Taking a closer look at the figure, I always think it's surprising how much details Amiibos actually have. The only big criticism is usually the face. Those usually aren't the best on human characters, but the sword is surprisingly pretty cool looking, especially with that fire. And since we're already talking about Amiibos, I also picked up Sephiroth and Kazuya. Sephiroth is a pretty impressive Amiibo just for the fact of that wing sculpt. You can actually see all the individual lines on each of the feathers. But just like Corrin, you might not want to take too close of a look at his face. Sephiroth has definitely seen better days. Of course, Kazuya is no exception. Being another human character, he also suffers from a terrible face. But they did a great job with all his muscle definition and the little dark scars. But the fact that his pose or stance is a little too wide for the Amiibo base looks pretty silly. Though, if I want to make him look even sillier, I could display him with June, the mother of his child, which makes her look extra thick. Unfortunately for the Amiibo collection, I was unable to pre-order the Pyra Mythra Amiibo, and while it's not as bad as Corrin, I do see them selling for around $69. Which isn't that terrible, but it's just a matter of principle. I just don't want to support scalpers and the aftermarket prices. And once again, for that amount of money, you might as well just get the nice scale figure of Pyra Mythra. But yeah, that was my quick little video on Amiibos. I know they're not the most impressive figures to look at, but they make me happy and they're special to me. And at the end of the day, that's what matters when it comes to collecting, right? But as always, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you on the next video. Bye bye.